Oh, folks, are we going to make Kenny White earn his big paycheck today? We're previewing Thursday night's NFL showdown in the AFC West, Kansas City at San Diego. Yikes. Consensus, San Diego 8.5-point favorites. Kenny total on the game is 43. Both teams are sideways at the moment. Let's start with the visitors. 1-6 straight up, and this is a team that just flat out does not like to protect the football.
And normally the paycheck is the normal size paycheck, but I take it to the copy machine and I enlarge it before I take it home, so I show the big paycheck. These two football teams are playing terrible right now. 3-game losing streak by the Chargers after a great start to September, and you never figured Norv Turner's teams would get off to a good start because they're always slow starters. And right now the Kansas City Chiefs just struggling at 1-6.
And Kansas City has absolutely no shot if they don't get their ground game on track with the circus act at quarterback, and they did not run the football at all against the Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders played solid defense. Brady Quinn started the game, Brian, and they could not move the football whatsoever. Replaced back in the lineup, Matt Castle, after a one-game hiatus, and he moved the football pretty good. 20 for 30 was actually his best game of the year. But you're right, Jamal Charles, for such a great back, he leads the league in tackles for a loss. So for a running back that quick, surprising the offensive line letting him down.
What do we make of the Chargers here? It used to be the September swoon. October was a nightmare for this club.
Yeah, I looked back to check the records for Norv Turner, and the months coming up are much better for him. He's 11-9 straight up in November. It's December where he succeeds 18-3, and the schedule's pretty easy. The remaining teams he plays, Brian, only one has a record of better than 60%, and that's the Baltimore Ravens. Combined records are only 42% his remaining schedule.
What do you make of the total here? It sits at 43. Okay, you had a low-scoring game, gusty conditions in Cleveland is the last thing we saw, a 7-6 game. But you've got a Chiefs team that's 5-2 to the over because their defense is a nightmare, and the Chargers are an over team too at 4-3.
Yeah, you're right. You got to throw out the last game in Cleveland because it was rainy and windy as well, so not a bad track, or not a good track. Looking at some numbers, though, you'd be surprised. Norv Turner versus the division, last 6 times at home, he is 6-1 to the under in those division games. And in November versus division games, in the last 5 years, 6-1 to the under. So these games start to mean more, but I think you really have to look at Kansas City. And can they stop anyone and stop turning the football over because they're in a record pace?
You're right, though. Familiarity breeds contempt. Division games are completely different animals. We're seeing 8.5s, even some 9s. What do you think this number does?
I think the number's awfully high. I don't like Kansas City right now the way they're playing, but I cannot trust the San Diego Chargers laying that big a number. And looking at what they've done, they're 13-1 ATS at home the last 3 years versus the division, not much better. Trust them in December when they're 15-6 ATS, but not in November right now laying that type of number.
We always trust the information Kenny White brings to the table, and we are certainly glad you stopped by DonBest.com. Good luck this Thursday night, Chiefs, Chargers, and the upcoming weekend in the NFL as well.